Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. It is Thursday, the 20th day of the fourth month of 2023. It is 4/20, 2023. And with that in mind, we have a couple of segments coming up. Um, as you probably or might have seen from the title, big announcement. Big announcement coming at the end. Um, got some other stuff to talk about. Uh, Before we get into the news, uh, a little bit of, I don't do this very often, um, a little food content, okay? Um, this is what I'm going to be eating after the show tonight. Can you get a look at that? There we go. Can you see it? That is the um, Morning Roost is the name of this. It is a two patties, fried egg, cheese, bacon, uh, peanut butter sauce. Incredible, incredible. And gonna be, I'll eat half of it. I'll eat half of it tonight and half of it tomorrow. That's how big it is. It's good too, by the way. Incredibly good. And it comes from the depot in Greenfield, Indiana. So, and the sides I got were tater tots for, well, you know. Anyway, yes, thank you for clicking on. Hey, Casey. Okay, that shows it shows me posting, so I'm not sure how that one shows me posting as American Doofus channel and as host, or at least it is on mine back here. Hi, Cunning. Paw Patrol got munchies. No, no, I live in Indiana. You can't do those things here. Can't eat that and squeeze into skinny jeans. Actually, Smoke Wagon, I got my skinniest of skinny jeans on tonight. I was just about to show them, and then Doofus Dog alerted to something out there. Hello, watching people win or fail. We were talking about possibly having Cunning Stunt and GA from CA on tonight. We talked about it behind the scenes a little bit. They were going to come on tonight, and we're delaying it. That's not the big announcement, but that is one of the announcements. We're delaying it. They're going to be on Monday night. We're going to have a panel Monday night. We're going to have some other guests. I'm not at liberty to say at the moment who. And I'm not going to tell you what the panel's about. I'm just going to say it's going to be a worthwhile conversation. And we'll be doing that Monday of the first Monday, the only Monday of next week. But some people count every day as Monday because, you know, some people, oh, never mind. It doesn't matter. Let me see. Where was I? I got off track, and I was all so much on a roll here. We do a little lead-in thing, and sometimes it's sometimes it's some of my original music. Sometimes it's some of CKM Music's original music. Sometimes it's some other music that is non-copywritten, and sometimes it's a funny little thing. This time we are going to kind of get into things tonight before we get into the news. This is Diana Jennings, and this is her first time hearing. This is her first time hearing. She calls him Van Morrison, but this is her first time hearing Jim Morrison and the Doors.
They're among the most influential and controversial rock acts. So today we are going to check out a band called The Doors. Now, I don't know anything about The Doors other than my brother was absolutely obsessed with the Doors for a period of his teenagerdom. My brother
Your brother must have been an incredibly sophisticated musical aficionado.
was cool. He liked music. I liked musical theater. We're different people. So today's going to be my very first time actually hearing that band.
I can't believe that. I really can't. With all the songs, with all the soundtracks, with all of the, I wasn't planning on doing this. It just kind of came to me. There are all these videos of people saying that they've never seen these songs or heard these songs before. And these songs are in movie soundtracks and TV commercials and played all on all different genres of radios all around the world. But anyway, I think she's probably telling the truth.
I think the lead singer is called Van Morrison. That's pretty much all I know.
No.
My assumption is that they're going to be like quite heavy rock music. I'm not actually too sure what period of time they come from. Sometimes I'm like, will I go into this video and look them up first, or will I just listen to the song? I think it's kind of pure to just listen to the song first, right? I looked up their most popular song.
I think it's most pure not to look them up and just go into it blind, right? I looked up their most popular song. All right, never mind. Sorry. Back to it.
And it didn't actually have a music video, but they remastered it, so that's what we're going to check out today. Now imagine for a second, this video sees the return of an old friend to the channel.
Okay. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to risk a copyright. But needless to say, she did not. It was not what she expected at all. She had quite a bit of problem with the line. His brain is squirming like a toad, and then take a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give that man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road. She kind of went like, ah, at that point. But she never stopped moving to the music that Ray Manzarek and Densmore and, oh, crap. Hair falling out. Not falling out, thankfully, falling down. Hello, butterflies are free. Hello to Beer Guy. CKM Music is evidently in here. Somebody saying hey to him. There's Italian Princess. There's CKM. Lisa Hurley, the Hurley girl. So, okay, maybe everybody hasn't heard of the Doors, but come on now. So that's our little lead in for tonight. We got some stuff to talk about coming up, and actually I got one more little lead in thing here I want to do. No, I'm going to save that. I'm talking like you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm producing on the fly here, directing, editing, and everything, and hosting. Thank you all for being here. Where is it? Well, I'm looking for something. Hang with me for just a second here because I'm not seeing it. There it is. All right. What I'm going to start with is this is the web page Y2 Kenyan. All right. I'm going to be talking about some stories coming up here. A lot of people are getting shot just because they are members of the Black community. This has happened in our past, including our recent past with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, on and on and on and on and on. Um, I don't have to tell the black community to my friends in the black community. I don't have to tell them that you have to always have your head on a swivel. Um, but I do have to tell my friends in the white community that if you know people that are spouting off hateful, disgusting, potentially dangerous rhetoric, uh, first of all, do not befriend them. Have some self worth, and second of all, if you're not going to report them, keep an eye on them. There's just too much going on. I'm sorry. I wish I didn't have to say it, but there's just too much going on. Now, this this page that we're at, this is uh, this is a a friend of mine. This is his page. His name's his name's Othel Wallace. He goes by Ozone. We became friends through unique circumstances. Um, he reached out to me today and asked me to let everybody know that his site's still up. That um, he is in great spirits, and he has a hearing tomorrow, and we're going to have him. We're going to have him on the show. I'm going to do an interview like we've done in the past. I've had him on here a couple of times in the past. Um, a lot of you may not know Othel's story. Othel was um, a member of the black community that was standing up during the time when we were previously talking about Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, on and on and on, and Elijah McClain, and and Othel found him without anything to do with any of that. Othel was in a um, parking lot behind an apartment, and police in his car. A police officer came up and ordered him out of the car. Um, a scuffle ensued. The police officer was shot, and the police officer died. Othel has been charged with murder and is facing the death penalty. That's the story. Okay, he's got a family. The, this is a man that got into a position that he couldn't get out of. And uh, am I am I discounting what happened? No. Am I saying that we need to remember that this is all alleged and he hasn't gone to trial yet? Yes. Why am I saying all that? Well, again, because we're going to have him on the show. Um, People that are incarcerated, while you're hearing on the J6 corner, while you're hearing the J6 people uh, talking every single night and multiple times, um, that is not how it is in most situations. And communication with the outside world is in many situations incredibly limited. So I'm going to do not really an interview. I'm going to let O talk. I'll record it and we'll play it next week or the week after. I'm bringing all of this up, of course, because of um, wait a minute, because of the latest shooting today. And I can't find the story. I know where it's at. It's in our breaking news. Um, he started shooting when a basketball rolled into his yard, neighbors said. The guy was on the run. He has been captured. 24-year-old white guy, and shot 6-year-old little girl and her dad. Um, and the the cheerleaders, the one cheerleader, the two cheerleaders were shot because they opened the wrong car door, and one of them's lost her spleen. They think she's going to recover. Um, it's just, it's just, um, we have to, we have to remember that cases like Othello, um, and cases like this, um, we have to remember that the law does not always work as blind justice, and we have to remember that things are alleged, and and I've seen other prime examples. I'll get to the headlines here in a second. I wasn't planning on any of this; it's just kind of coming out. Um, um, John Fitzgerald Johnson, Grandmaster J, the leader of the NFAC, uh, and at that time in Louisville, Kentucky, um, and the judgment and sentencing he got compared to the same infractions, the same counts and charges in the white community. The disparity is more than obvious, and I think those of us in the white community um often discount the fact that there are a whole lot of things that not only currently but historically have been um, leveraged against the black community, and they keep overcoming, and they keep overcoming, and they keep overcoming, and at some point, and I hope that point is so very soon. Again, we're having a big announcement tonight. Hope that point's soon, that they don't have to overcome anything. They're just one of us. Uh, and Martin Luther King had a dream, and there wasn't anything wrong with that dream, except there are people that really do not want to see that dream fulfilled. New York Times headline: Biden 2024 re-election announcement could come as soon as next week. Uh, sorry, I'm going to talk about this coming up. Big announcement coming up. New York Times again: knocking on the wrong house or door can be deadly in a nation. I know it's not going to let me see it. It might let me see it. In a nation armed to the teeth, these tiny missteps led to tragedy. And of course, it's blocking me, as it should, because they have the right to do that. It's their content. Um, NPR: McCarthy brings, and this is just what I'm talking about, knocking on the wrong door. McCarthy brings food stamp access into debt limit debate. Um, okay, that who do these people care about? Who do these people care about? Um, Changing access so people cannot get aid that need it. And the Independent: the Alabama shooting, there's been a fourth suspect arrested. Actually, there's been a fifth, if I'm not mistaken. I'm relatively certain there's been a fifth. Um, let's run down the bookmarks, and then I'll get back into the chat and see if anybody has anything to say. Or Here we go. Where's it at? There we are. All right. Um, the leadership conference, House passed House Resolution 734, a discriminatory bill that seeks to exclude trans, non-binary, and intersex people from school athletic programs. Um, this is going to be one that is going to bring up debate. To trans, non-binary, and intersex youth in America, know that the civil rights community loves you and will continue fighting for you. Um, again, I'm showing this because this I'm not sure this is going to get much play on mainstream media, and just wanted people to be aware that this did happen today in the United States House of Representatives, where Marjorie Taylor Greene is a representative, and we'll talk about her coming up. Montana House of Representatives, this happened 7 hours ago, is convening today, and the Republican lawmakers are considering censuring their only. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. They're censuring. Okay, Montana House of Representatives. This is the Montana State House. Considering censuring their only transgender representative, Representative Zoe Zephyr, who gave a powerful speech against anti-trans laws, and they will hear a law meant to erase trans people from all codes. That's all legal codes. The governor of Vermont, what's his name? Phil Scott. Here we go. Governor Phil Scott signed a bill into law today, raising the legal age for marriage in Vermont from 16 to 18, making Vermont the 8th state in the United States to ban child marriage, while other states are removing all restrictions. The White House accuses Ron DeSantis of cancel culture after Florida expands Don't Say Gay law. The shot Texas cheerleader. I didn't want to do that. Come on. Shot Texas cheerleader stable after doctors remove her spleen. I mentioned that a little earlier. Federal prosecutors have considered 4 possible charges against Hunter Biden. Once again, Hunter Biden, not president of the United States, son of the president of the United States. If he did anything wrong, lock him up right after you lock up Donald Trump. Woman dead after rock hurling attacks on moving vehicles in West Metro Denver crime spree. Again, there's something happening here. The world's going a little bit crazy, and the United States is right in the middle of it, probably creating the vortex that's spinning into the rest of the world. Police shot Atlanta Cop City protester 57 times, the autopsy finds. Ex-wife of Ralph Yar's shooter, the ex-wife of the guy that shot Ralph Yar, says he had rage issues and that she was always scared. There have also been reports that he had some rather ugly racist beliefs as well. And then reminder from last night that Mike Pence is weeks, not months, weeks, I tell you, from making a decision. Why are these people so indecisive? That's what I'm wondering. Why are these people so indecisive? Because they're all tainted by the system. The system says who does what and where and who. And any of them that are part of it, they're all tainted by the system. We got Bobby Kennedy Jr. coming out, going to run as a Democrat, but doesn't believe in any kind of vaccinations. All right, he's totally anti-vax. Well, all right, let's just say China hears that, which they probably already have, since they seem to be listening to just about everything. Thank you, TikTok. Um, And China says, okay, we kind of let that COVID-19 thing out. It was a little more deadly than we anticipated. It was just a probe. We just wanted to see how it would spread and react. And we got this really, really bad thing and then nobody in, half of the United States is going to go automatically going to go. I'm not taking any vaccination, and that's a pretty good indication. Real easy way to wipe out half of our population. Just something to think about. Not telling anybody how to think or what to think. Just giving you things to think about. Any other non-skinny jean rockers out there? No, I am. I really am rocking them. Yeah, my skinniest of skinny jeans. Here. I got my We All Rise Together shirt on. I can't. I would, but I can't. I'd turn around and show y'all, but of course I was never going to do that. Are you kidding me? What the heck is that? Oh, I moved the chair. See, I moved the chair. Moved one little thing and everything. All right. So we've had a little bit of news. I got some other news. But let's take a little pause here in the middle. And today's 420 day. And of course a commercial. And I thought, well, let's do a little history. We like to do history here. And has anybody tried these? It's I think it's called Mood, and they send them to you, and you can supposedly get them anywhere. Asking for a friend. All right. Here we go. Suppose I got two versions of this. So this is supposedly the real story of 420.
420 Day, a day to celebrate marijuana. But the origin of the word escapes many, and most rumors are the stuff of urban legend.
That's probably what I heard, urban legend. Tell us.
Welcome. My name is David Jolly, and happy 420 Day.
Hi, David.
And thank you for watching this video. Well, the famous 420 Day is linked to April 20 and is a day to celebrate cannabis. But the origin of the word is a little hazy and filled with rumor and innuendo. Such rumors
Actually a number, not a word, but
include the plausible, such as a police code for a cannabis violation.
no.
Or
I always heard it was a dude got stopped on Interstate 70 in Iowa, and his car broke down, and he called like emergency services, the roadside phone thing, and he told him where his car was, and he was supposed to meet a guy there, or maybe he wasn't broke down. Yeah, I think he did. He broke down. He was on his way to meet somebody to buy marijuana from him, and he was at the 420 mile marker. That is what I always heard long time ago.
the number of active compounds in the cannabis plant to the increasingly implausible, such as a reference to a Bob Dylan song, the official tea time in the Netherlands, or even Hitler's birthday. However, none of these are correct. The origin of 420 is, as it turns out, rather cute and folksy. The origin of 420 can be traced back to the early 1970s and to Northern California. A group of 5 California teens nicknamed the Waldos would hang out next to a Louis Pasteur statue outside of their San Rafael High School. Well, during the fall of 1971, the Waldos learned that a cannabis plant had been growing and cared for by a member of the U.S. Coast Guard. However, this early cannabis cultivator could no longer tend to the plant. So the Waldos also had in their possession a treasure map that purportedly led to the abandoned and wild weed. The Waldos would meet once a week, jump into a car, smoke pot, and then comb the Point Reyes forest for the complementary cannabis. And despite their weed-fueled fury, they never did, in fact, find that cannabis plant. But how did the name 420 come about? Well, the term was created by the Waldos as the time they would meet at the Louis Pasteur statue.
No, I don't believe it.
4:20
I like my
PM.
story better.
One of the Waldos, Steve Capper, was interviewed by the Huffington Post and stated, "We would remind each other in the hallways we were supposed to meet up at 420. It originally started out at 420 Louis, and we eventually dropped the Louis." So 420 was cryptically used by the high schoolers as a way to communicate with each other without the teachers or their parents knowing what was really going on. But hold on. How did the term 420 become so universally known? Well, that's a great story too. See, the Waldos were not only high school stoners and failed cannabis treasure hunters, they had connections. Their connections happened to be with the famous band The Grateful Dead. One of the Waldos, Mark Gravitch, well, his father managed the band's real estate. Another Waldo, Dave Reddix, had an older brother who was good friends with the Dead's bassist, Phil Lesh. This older brother also managed a band connected with the Grateful Dead called Winterland. The Waldos were using the phrase 420 to refer to possessing a joint, and used this phrase around the band, their members, and their entourage. Eventually, the phrase spread through the Grateful Dead community. In 1990, at a Grateful Dead concert in Oakland, California, a pamphlet was produced and passed around by the Deadhead faithful that read, "We are going to meet at 420 on 420 for 420ing in Marin County." A report from High Times was provided a copy of the pamphlet on that day, and the story referencing 420 was published in the magazine. The word was then launched to a global audience, and the rest is, as they say, history. In our current pretend world of enlightenment, the word 420 has made its way into modern vernacular. When California codified medical marijuana into law in 2003, the bill was known as SB 420. 420 has also been referenced in movies, TV
That stands for Senate bill.
shows, and even a Nickelodeon cartoon. As it currently
I don't know. Does this guy look like somebody that would be an expert on the history of marijuana verbiage? Just, I don't know.
stands, the word 420 remains most famously connected to April 20 and the worldwide celebration of cannabis, all thanks to a group of Northern California high school students called the Waldos.
I don't know. I think they made it up to get quasi-famous online. I could be wrong. As I said, I've got one other. Okay, I've got one other. And let's see if it is similar.
On April 20th, pot smokers across the U.S. will be lighting up a joint to celebrate their favorite holiday, 420. The number 420 has become a widely known code for cannabis or cannabis smoking.
We gotta go. I'm sorry, we got a meeting.
But the true origin Bob Dylan has a song called Rainy Day Women number 12 and 35. And because 12 times 35 equals 420, many have taken that to mean that the code number originated with Bob Dylan.
I like the QAnon version.
The song's lyrics
Also
reference weed smoking.
Everybody must get stoned.
That it does.
This theory is easy to debunk because the best time period to plant cannabis varies from country to country or even from city to city. According to his lab notes, Swiss chemist Albert Hofmann, the father of LSD, or what's commonly known as acid, first consumed the drug at 4:20 p.m. And some believe that the time of his drug use could be related to 420, but that's just a coincidence. LSD actually has its own unofficial holiday on April 19th to commemorate Hoffman's first acid trip. The most credible backstory to the code 420 is that back in 1971, a group of high schoolers in California who called themselves the Waldos would meet up at 4:20 p.m. to smoke. And they used the code 420 as a way to remind each other of their after-school plans without alerting those around them.
We could say 420 is our secret code in front of our parents, cops, teachers, everybody. And nobody knew what it was, and it was our little private joke.
In interviews, the Waldos have said that they would meet at 420, smoke, and go searching for a crop of cannabis that they heard was left behind by a Coast Guard service member in a nearby town. They never did end up finding the hidden treasure, but the Waldos, who have now been friends for over 50 years, coined a phrase that was spread across their high school, their colleges, and eventually the whole country.
Allegedly. Gosh, that's one of those Cheech and Chong papers. Allegedly. All right. One more little thing here. I figured since we're doing history, and there you go. That's what the alleged lore of where 420 came from, including mine, which I still like mine the best. Evolution of marijuana. And this is going to take about 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. I mean, like right back. Hopefully before commercial if they...
Marijuana has changed a lot during the last decades after legalization. The experts are breeding the plant into amazingly beautiful plants and making them extra potent. But it wasn't always like this. Let's take a look at the evolution of cannabis since ancient times. Cannabis, at this time in the Pampo village, was regarded among the 5 grains of China and was farmed as a major food crop. This was the earliest record of cannabis as a medicinal drug. At this time, Emperor Shen Nung recognized its treatment properties for over 100 ailments such as gout, rheumatism, and malaria. Nomadic Indo-European people, the Scythians, used cannabis in steam baths and also burned cannabis seeds in burial rituals. Cannabis was described as a source of happiness, joy giver, and bringer of freedom in the Atharva Vedas Hindu religious texts. At this time, cannabis was smoked at daily devotional services and religious rituals. Open religious use of cannabis allowed for exploration of medical benefits. During this period, it was used to treat a variety of ailments such as epilepsy, rabies, anxiety, and bronchitis. Egyptian medical papyrus of medical knowledge, the Ebers Papyrus, noted that medical cannabis can treat inflammation. Cannabis pollen was recovered from the mummy of Ramesses II, the Egyptian pharaoh who was mummified after his death in 1213 BC. Greek physician Dioscorides prescribed cannabis for toothaches and earaches. The Roman doctor Claudius Galen noted it was widely consumed throughout the empire, and women of the Roman elite also used cannabis to alleviate labor pains. Huata was the first recorded physician to describe cannabis as an analgesic. He used a mixture of cannabis and wine to anesthetize patients before surgery. The medieval Persian medical writer Avicenna published Avicenna's Canon of Medicine book, stating that cannabis is an effective treatment for gout, edema, infectious wounds, and severe headaches. His work was widely studied from the 13th to 19th centuries, having a lasting impact on Western medicine. Arab traders at this time started bringing cannabis from India to Eastern Africa, where it spread inland. It was used to treat malaria, asthma, fever, and dysentery. The Spanish brought cannabis to the Americas, where it was used for more practical purposes like rope or clothes. However, years later, it would be used as a psychoactive and medicinal drug. Napoleon brought cannabis back to France from Egypt, and it was investigated for its pain-relieving and sedative qualities. At this time, cannabis would be used to treat tumors, cough, and jaundice. Irish Dr. William O'Shaughnessy introduced the therapeutic uses of cannabis to Western medicine. He concluded it had medicinal effect, and the plant's use in a pharmaceutical context would rapidly rise thereafter. Drug use was declared a crime in the US under the Harrison Narcotics Tax Act in 1914. It was in the 60s when pot growers first started to breed genetics. The all-time loved strain by the hippies in the 60s was the Colombian gold strain, a landrace sativa from Colombia. The molecular structure of THC, an active component of cannabis, was discovered and synthesized by Israeli chemist Dr. Raphael McCollum. In 1970, cannabis became categorized as a Schedule 1 drug in the US, which limited further research into the plant, as it was listed as having no accepted medical use, although the only available weed in the US was primarily Mexican or Colombian. Panama Red managed to capture the attention and affection of cannabis enthusiasts in the 70s, perhaps because it was so strong, it was reported to have almost psychedelic effects. The CBD1 and CBD2 cannabinoid receptors were discovered in 1988. Today, we know they are some of the most abundant neuroreceptors in the brain. White Widow deserves a mention as one of the most prolific strains of the 90s. Bred specifically for indoor cultivation, it ushered in one of the biggest quantum leaps in the history of cannabis, being vastly different from anything grown the decades before. A widely smoked strain during this time was Blue Dream. It was eerily, almost annoyingly popular, and for good reason. It was a sativa-dominant hybrid. Various governments started legalizing weed in the 2010s. Uruguay fully became the first country to legalize nationwide in 2014. Canada in 2018, various states, and South Africa. Some of the most popular weed strains in the 2020s are Gelato, Skittles, Lucky Charms, and Skywalker OG. Well, there you have
Well,
it.
there you have
The
it.
full evolution of ganja, since we
The
have recorded information. As
evolution of marijuana from 4,000 to 2022. So our history for the night. And let me pop over. Is anybody still here? Everybody still here? Hello? People still here? Bring the chat up and see what's going on. Oh, of course, it has nothing up. I'll leave it down. Okay, you guys are. Sup, Pat Tolliver? How are you? Lori Arnold, the Voodoo Unicorn. If you haven't subscribed to Lori Arnold's new channel, Voodoo Unicorn, please do so. And again, hey, Lisa Hurley. And again, if you're just joining us, a big announcement coming up at the end. We've got a few more news stories to get through, and we'll get through relatively quickly here. If you're just joining us and you're looking for Cunning Stunt and GA from CA, they are in the chat on Facebook or on YouTube. I mean, if you're watching on Facebook or one of the other platforms, you can't chat. If you come to YouTube, you can. Hey, She-Hawk, how are you? Glad to see you in here. Max Flower. Max Flower's comment flew by there. Awesome. Happy birthday. Anybody celebrating a birthday out there? Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. It costs me absolutely nothing to do that. And we ought to all do that. We ought to all do things to make other people feel good if it doesn't cost us nothing. And even if it costs us something, we ought to all consider it just something to think about as we head towards a big announcement. Hoagie, not a sub or a hero. We're talking about. Are we talking about like the best hoagies and subs and heroes? Like what's the fire guy? Firehouse Subs, and there's Pramani Brothers, and there's of course there's Subway, and um, I don't know. Sandwiches. Talking about sandwiches. Oh well, thank you, Cunning. Thank you. Serious, because I got a serious announcement coming up. And again, if you're looking for the platinum girls, two of which are Cunning Stunt and CA from GA, they're down in the chat. They're not going to be with me tonight. They're going to be with me Monday night. There will be some others along, and we'll have a panel. Not going to tell you who else is going to be there yet, and I'm not going to tell you what the topic is, but it is going to be one that people will be interested in, and people will have some feedback and response too. I've talked on here before about Twitter and what I think has been happening. I'm just going to share just a couple of few seconds here from Rich Eisen, who's again a well-known, considered independent journalist, even though because of the Rich Eisen show, even though he's affiliated with the NFL Network, and just play it from here.
Lawyer, so he can, verify that.
Thank you. You can verify that. Can you help me? Is there a legal case that I have here, Terzo?
Yeah, I think the unfortunate part is I think we're running into a little too much money on the other side.
I know.
And I think, as Florio might say, they might tie us up in litigation until we have to tie it.
All right, Terzo, I thought the number of times that you and I have conversed, the words pro and bono would be together, but I understand you've got lights and bills to pay. I got lights to keep on.
Hey, no, I'd be going after. Hey, it would be pro bono for you, right?
No,
that's
their
money.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'd be going after their money, and I'd be making them pay the attorney's fees, not you, my man.
I am just so happy that I lost my blue check mark while I'm on the air to confirm. This is great. Thank you for the call.
You really did change your header, your banner.
I did.
Mine literally keeps flicking in and out right now.
No, I did, because I actually tweeted last night specifically the tweet that I said I don't need a blue check mark to confirm whatever. I don't need a blue check mark as a status or whatever the hell I tweeted. But I specifically actually hit 2 lines to lower the copy so I could take a screen grab of my blue check mark next to my name and my avatar. That is now my header. So now everybody can see that I have a blue check mark at the very top. I'm now confirming for myself that that's me. And
okay, so Twitter took away his blue check mark, but before they did, he took a picture of it and made it the header on his page. So he always has a blue check mark. All right. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to save that for the very last, right before. Okay, here, we'll do this. We'll start with this. I touched on this last week when I talked about last weekend when I talked about all the shootings, that there were 4 motorcyclists shot, 3 of them killed from a vehicle on Interstate 45. And I said what I had heard kind of under the ground was that it was biker gang, motorcycle club, outlaw motorcycle club involvement, and it wasn't it was retribution and not your outside the norm nonsense that we've been seeing. All right. This is according to the Associated Press, AP, not Anarchy Princess. more peril for Trump in the GA probe than the New York indictment. I said this back at the time. Everybody was all fired up that Trump had been indicted. I said, I'm not sure there's there, but with what's going to happen in Georgia and what's going to happen in the federal courts, he is in really serious trouble, in my opinion, and for what he has allegedly done. Did I close that? I did. Crap. Okay, I got to go back over here and start it over. Not the whole thing, just my news feed. We were speaking of Elon Musk, not really actually mentioning his name, but Rich Eisen really has a problem with him. Rich Eisen went on to say that there's no way he's going to be paying $8 a month for something that has become meaningless after so many journalists had worked so hard to put in the time to get the credibility for blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Think of that what you want. Anyway, SpaceX, here is the launch. And as you can see, it's this is the most powerful rocket that has ever been built. And after liftoff, it's beginning to ascend nicely. And it's going to blow up here, unfortunately. But they said it's on purpose. Elon Musk come out afterwards and said, "Oh, yeah, we did that on purpose. We blew it up on purpose." Elon Musk just tweeted congrats and that, and then learned that it blew up. And then a little bit later after that came out and said, "Yeah, we meant to blow it up. We meant it. It was intentional." And, maybe it was. I'm not a rocket scientist. Iran says its Navy forced a U.S. submarine to surface in Gulf waters. I had some information probably 10 days ago. This comes from Al Jazeera, by the way. I had some information probably 10 days ago that we were moving a sub and we were moving some resources into that area. And evidently, the Iranian Navy forced a U.S. submarine to surface. Now, again, this is from Al Jazeera, so this is going to be coming from the Iranian perspective, and but I haven't seen it anywhere else, so we'll have to. And I don't. Do I not have it up? I don't have it up here. What happened? I just looked over and saw I didn't have it up here. There we go. Again, this is from Al Jazeera. Iran says its Navy forced a U.S. sub to surface in Gulf waters. So that's just something that we're going to keep an eye on. All right, let's keep rolling along here. Prison isn't housing. Trump wants to criminalize homelessness, and people are speechless. Trump wants to basically make being homeless illegal. And that means if you're in a little tiny camper or a tent or whatever you may be in, if you don't have a home address, a physical address that you are staying at, he wants to arrest all of them and relocate them to inexpensive land in tent cities. Those are the quotation marks. I'm using the brackets, concentration camps, allegedly. We mentioned, or I did anyway, I mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene earlier. Taylor Greene loses it, wants to punish Republicans who, quote, won't stand up for the people and against the Democrats in the war, the Democrats' war against Trump. And I didn't know the Democrats had declared war against Trump. I knew Trump probably declared war against anybody and everybody that's not him, including his own people, but they don't realize that. This, if this is true, a diaper-wearing Vladimir Putin suffered nervous breakdown after switching to stronger cancer medicine. That's according to leaks from inside the Kremlin. And I will say that leaks from inside the Kremlin are on the increase. I'm not saying that this is necessarily true. As always, just letting you know what's out there and letting you this is the way the news used to be. It used to be just, hey, here's what's going on, not you need to, and here's what's going on in reaction to it. You need to, yeah, it's all about sides and being part of the clubs, and we're not part of the clubs, and we're not going to get picked to be on either one of the teams. Just keep that in mind. Another story about Putin. Vladimir Putin is preparing to attack the UK. This story comes from UK news source, The Telegraph. So for a long time, it's only speculation. Now we know for certain Russia spy ships are mapping wind farms and key cables off the British coast. Only one reason for this, to learn how to sabotage UK and UK and European critical infrastructure in the event of a full-scale war with the West. That's probably why, yes, but no. Okay. I am going to flip to this. I accidentally hit this, but we'll bring it up. Raw Story says a newly revealed tape of Ted Cruz has him telling Fox hosts to listen to, quote, actual facts, end quote, in 2020 coverage. So is Cruz going to try to make himself out to be one of the good guys? Very interesting. Scientists finally solved the mystery of how the Mayan calendar works. This came out 10 hours ago. I've got it on here because I've got a book called 12-12-12, The Final 10 Days. I've got a book called America, Land of the Greed, Home of the Grave. I've got another book called The Second Coming of Christ, with a question mark, Yellowstone. It's about the Yellowstone Park and the super caldera and volcanic potential. All right. Okay. I want to go. Let's do this. I want to hop back over here one more time and just so any of my friends in the Black community, get this out if you would. Y2 Kenyon is the page. It's on YouTube. It's Ozone's page, Othel Wallace O, and he's in court tomorrow. Still got the wife and kids outside, and he's on the inside. And any help that any of the members of the Black community or any other good-hearted people, you can get all the information right here. And again, I'm going to have him on probably in 2 weeks, probably not next week. And don't get a lot of chance to communicate with the outside world, and we're going to give him a few minutes of what we do here, and let him say what he wants to say. And I look forward to talking with him. Like I said, he's a guy that just, he's a dude that got in the wrong situation. I'm just going to leave it at that because trial hasn't begun yet. this is going to be this is like our, feature. Since I don't have guests on tonight, I've actually gone longer than I was really anticipating, and I haven't even done the big announcement yet. All right. So, and I'm not going to play all of this, but CNN took over a 14-year-old's TikTok account, and there was some. Okay, let me see if I can refresh this and get it to play. We'll probably have to do a commercial, maybe. All right, hang on. Be back to that in just a second. Here we go. This is I don't do TikTok. I had a TikTok account in the last congressional run, and somebody ran it, and it was just, vote for me kind of thing, as far as I know. All right, here we go. Now we're cued. CNN takes over a 14-year-old's TikTok account. 17 minutes in, this is what they saw.
I was 9 when I wanted to die. 13 when I found a solution.
You're watching the For You page of a teen's TikTok account.
Love will not heal me.
CNN created this TikTok profile with the help of a 14-year-old and their parents before taking control of it. Over 6 days, we used this account to see what kinds of content the app would serve to a young person. It seems to be sort of giving you a guide for how to develop an eating disorder, how to restrict your eating. What surprised me most, the content that I was served while in restricted mode. But that comes later. First, all right, let's do it. This is the first time that I'm gonna be opening this TikTok and looking at the For You page. For the first 2 days, I scrolled the test account's For You page for 30 minutes, about a third of the amount of time a typical US teen spends on the app each day, according to a TechCrunch report. And I watched each video I came across in full just once. At first, we saw a lot of this.
Oh, the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. He can go like a cow, he can go moo moo.
And this. But about 17 minutes into our first day, we were served this video. Now we've come to a live video. All we're really seeing is this girl's bottom in the frame. It looks like that's the point of this video. And about 18 minutes into day 2, we came across this video. So now we've got one that has a hashtag mental health on it.
You gotta kill you if you wanna kill me.
We have a sort of like veiled reference to suicide in here. Sort of mature themes happening here.
I think a lot of parents are sitting there going, hold on a sec, I thought TikTok was about dance crazes.
On day 3, we started searching for content, using search terms from both a lawsuit filed by the Indiana Attorney General's office and research from the online safety advocacy group Center for Countering Digital Hate. The Indiana AG alleges that teenagers can type partial search terms, and the app will autocomplete with suggestions that could surface inappropriate content. TikTok has said it doesn't comment on pending litigation, but that user safety is a top priority. First, we replicated their search for alcohol and drug-related content, and didn't immediately find anything that seemed harmful. I'm not seeing anything that has to do with alcohol on the first page of search results. Then we replicated their searches for sexual content. We typed KI, and our second result is kin TikTok. We're getting some pretty sort of adult, mature content that we're seeing here. We're getting all of these other suggestions. Kin TikTok daddy's girl, kin TikTok rope bed, kin TikTok scenario rough. And maybe you're typing KI because you're searching something completely unrelated to this, but it was a second search result. And so you could see how somebody might come across this kind of content sort of accidentally. When we searched terms mentioned in the research by the Center for Countering Digital Hate, we found dozens of videos related to eating disorders and self-harm. TikTok has pushed back against the group's research, saying it wasn't representative of a real person's experience on the platform. Still, many of the hashtags mentioned in the research remained active and quickly led us to concerning content. Immediately, the first result looks like it's about eating disorder recovery. In this one, talking about drawing food so they don't actually have to eat food. This one's talking about eating disorder safe foods. A lot of these videos, you have thousands of views, hundreds of comments, thousands of saves. And a lot of these videos do look like they're sort of targeted towards talking about recovery, but it's not always exactly clear.
I think it's really important that people speak their truth and have their voices to talk about their recovery. But the question is, should TikTok knowingly be sending that again and again to 13-year-old girls who perhaps don't yet have the vocabulary or the emotional intelligence to be able to cope with these sorts of concepts?
These clips may seem shocking, but in some cases we chose not to show the most disturbing and explicit content. When we clicked through to this person's account, you see in the description it says some of my videos have my self-harm scars, so trigger warning. On day 5, we turned on restricted mode, a feature that TikTok says limits videos that may be inappropriate for some people. Then we recreated the same searches we'd done on day 3 to see if it would change our results. This is almost pornographic. We found that restricted mode didn't seem to restrict much of anything. We actually saw this same video when we were not on restricted mode. I think we may have seen this one too, and this one. This actually seems like almost all of the same videos that we saw previously.
Oh my god, people's depression gets so bad they can't brush their teeth? People's depression gets so bad they kill themselves, Janet.
This didn't pop up before. You are more than your weight. If you or someone you know has questions, image, food, or exercise, it's important to know that help is out there. So it's kind of interesting that TikTok seems to have recognized that I was looking at a lot of eating disorder or weight loss related content, and yet while we're on restricted mode, it's not sort of changed the fact that you can see all of this stuff. TikTok says it sometimes directs users to resources for issues such as eating disorders and self-harm based on the search terms they use. In response to questions from CNN, the company updated 2 additional eating disorder hashtags, so they now redirect to support resources.
All right, we're speeding.
On days 5 and 6, we scrolled the For You page for 30 minutes while on restricted mode, and we saw a slight uptick in mental health related videos. We have another depression related video. Again, in the comments you have, I can relate to this and I'm only in middle school, I can relate to this and I'm in high school. Okay, we've got hashtag suicide, hashtag don't kill yourself.
Explaining my depression to my mother, a conversation.
CNN flagged more than a dozen videos we came across during our experiment to TikTok. It removed 3 of them for violating its community guidelines, including this one, which you saw at the top of this video.
Heard my heartbeat pound in my ears like a warning drum. Then fade. I'd almost convinced myself I'd done it.
We've known for a long time that actually content about self-harm and suicide can have an instigatory effect on young people. And the normalization of self-harm is incredibly dangerous.
Our test account didn't behave exactly like a real teen would. And much of the content we saw also fell into a gray area that may or may not be concerning to parents, but it did show what a teen could encounter on the app. In a statement, spokesperson Ben Wraith said TikTok is committed to building age-appropriate experiences for teens and offers family pairing. TikTok also removed 2 search suggestions that led to sexual content. TikTok has also added various youth safety features, including a screen time limit, keyword filters, and options for diversifying users' feeds. Still, online safety experts are urging TikTok to do more, and in the meantime, they say parents should be aware of what their kids see on the app.
They need to be having conversations with their kids, asking them, what are you seeing? And then helping them to contextualize that. By having that conversation, we can actually help kids and parents understand better this new social media age that we, for better or worse, live in.
All right. Right. All right. There we go. I don't know. Much ado about nothing. Revelation as to what is actually going on. Is it an indication that TikTok took action when CNN did this? Is instead of sending things to the platform and hoping the platform makes corrections, should things be sent to CNN? Something to think about. Just, something to think about. All right. We've come to that time. Big announcement. I know you've all been waiting for it, and just going to give you a quick. First of all, does anybody have any guesses what the announcement might be? Lori Arnold says CNN is part of the problem. Well, okay. Some people may think that, but that piece we just saw from CNN kind of might have made TikTok might have made TikTok change some of the things they were allowing. No, I'm not pregnant. No, I'm not. I'm not pregnant. I'm not getting married. I'm not transitioning. Thomas O'Keefe says he gave his guesses already. I'm sorry, Thomas. I wasn't paying attention. My guess is you're a Trump supporter. No. Pregnant, and it's not yours, Cunning Stunt says. Oh, Cunning. Already abandoning me. Smoke Wagon says, I really don't rock skinny jeans. Doofus has a girlfriend? No, none of those things. No, not getting married. Give you a hint. All right. Give you a hint. There's a hint. No, unfortunately, Max, I don't think that's going to be the case. The way things are, I adopted Telescope. No, Max, I don't think I'm going to be cancer free. I got some stuff going on around the areas and not feeling great about it. But we'll get. You're going on a cruise? No, I'm not going on a cruise. I'm becoming a Pisces. You're moving to the mountains to join a call. Ford Fisher. Going on a fishing trip, going fishing. Those good guesses, but no. Actually, I'm unofficially announcing that I'm going to be running for president in 2024. That the reason being that everybody that would otherwise run, they're all tainted. They're all tainted by the system. Got to have somebody not tainted by the system. Now, fish, you ask, what is fish about? Can you see it? There we go. The Fish Political Party, P-Fish or Fish Party. F is for food, the I is for the internet, the S is for security, and the H is for health. Okay? Fish. Why fish? Okay, we got donkeys. We got elephants. Why fish? Fish need clean water. Guess what? Clean water is pretty good for us too, and it should be a focus, and it's not. So, unofficially, Fish Party. I'm running for president 2024. It's not official because I don't have a tie on and an official suit. You know, you got to have a tie and a suit to give your official, I'm officially running kind of thing. And so it's not official, but here's how it's going to work. As I said, the I is for the internet. The internet's key. Normally you need like $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion to run for president. Not going to do that. Not going to run around and have big pageants and pep rallies and stuff. Everything's going to be done online. That's the internet part of it. Internet's going to remain free, and the internet's going to be available for everyone. And the internet's going to be key because that's how we save all the money. All of my political appearances will be broadcast by restreaming. No networks involved, and they'll all be done at in recording studios where where either bands are rehearsing, bands that support this idea. They're either rehearsing or they're recording so that they're getting a little promotion too. And we've got music that we're allowed to use. The F part, food. We don't focus on food in our country. We assume food will always be there, and we become dependent on a lot of things other than ourselves. So food's going to be a focus. Making sure the food's healthy food, making sure that there's enough food for everyone. Food's incredibly important, just like the idea of fish is incredibly important. The S is for security. Security of the country, security of the people living in the country. Safety, same thing. We shouldn't be constantly having our heads on a swivel, wondering, am I going to be the next person randomly shot? That's ludicrous. I'm sorry, that's ludicrous. If nobody has the guts to tell you, I'm telling you, it's ludicrous. We can do better. The H for health. Health is a human right. It is not a privilege, in my opinion. So FISH, the P-Fish Party, the Fish Party. Why me? Well, Bernie's too old. All of them are too old. They're all tainted. I might ask somebody to be my vice president that would be fitting with what we're trying to do. What are we trying to do? Nerds, rise up. Time for the nerds to rise up. 2024, Party of the Fish. Fish need clean water, we do too. Time we put a doofus in the White House. There you go. I'm running for president unofficially. 2024. Starting a brand new party. That's the only way we can do it. Take it back. Two parties are both tainted. We need something brand new. And we can quickly build a coalition big enough to be taken seriously. So, see you all at the after party. I'm going to put my burger into the microwave for about 20 minutes or 20 seconds. That's why I had to leave earlier. The smell was just killing me. I wanted to eat it so bad. So there we go. Run for president 2024. That's the big announcement. We will be back Monday night with a show, with a panel, and it's going to be an incredible panel. We got a great topic, and you're going to want to be there. I may be on Friday night, I may be on Saturday night, I may be on Sunday night with like impromptu lives. Hit the subscribe, hit the notification so you'll know when your next president is going to be coming on to speak to you. And we will have a clear separation of church and state. Even though I consider myself a spiritual person, this party is going to recognize that not everyone has the same beliefs, but yet everyone should have the same rights and also responsibilities. I'll be coming out with my policies on various things, including foreign policies. And yes, Party of Fish, Fish Party. I will make you fishers of doofus. Doofus in the White House makes everybody, hey, guarantee it's going to make it better. It's going to get better, and it's going to get better, and it's going to get better, and it's going to get better. That's how it's done. See you at the after party. Namaste. Shalom. Salam. Assalamu alaikum. Blessings be upon you. Love. Positive vibrations. Peace. It's a dark world. It's time we all become lights. Nerds, rise up.